Greetings, fellow Kerbonauts! Nerdy Spaceman here, and for another installment of A Beginner's Guide to Kerbal Space Program. And in this episode, we are going to fly and land on the moon. This is going to be a two-part episode. So the first part, we're going to get into space and on our way to the moon, maybe into orbit. And then in the second part, we're going to actually land on the moon and come back again. So looking forward to it. To start us off, we're going to get the ASP, which we built in the previous episode. Big, powerful rocket, lots of engines, lots of the fuel-efficient design of the asparagus staging. We're going to throw Bob in there, and we're going to launch. So, first things first, we're going to go ahead and turn on SAS and max out our throttle. And we're going to collect a little bit of science because we just got the barometer. So we're going to log that pressure data. And then we're going to hop out and do an EVA and climb up the ladders, conveniently placed. Take that data, and climb back down, and board. There we go. So we got to play catch up now with all of the new science that we're going to be getting. I'm going to go ahead and get this ready, and then right after launch, we're going to launch out. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and there it is. We're launching, and we're off. Right off the bat, we're going to log that data. Thank you. Now the reason I zoom out is because the engines get really loud during launch, and I don't want to overpower it. So anyways, we're going up. We've collected that launch data. We'll go ahead and close that for now. And these are going to deplete really quickly, but they're going to be a little bit after 100 meters per second. So usually what I do is I'm going to wait till they deplete and then jettison them. So there they are. And now I can start my gravity turn. Now the thing about the gravity turn is that this is a very heavy rocket and its acceleration isn't like anything spectacular. So what I'm going to do is only turn to about 5 degrees and then activate my program. This is because I want to have as much vertical energy as I can because of the mass of the rocket and I'm having a hard time accelerating quickly enough. So we're going to have a slightly higher orbit. That's going to be fine because we're still going to be able to get into space just fine. Get my orbit as close to 90 degrees as possible. Get rid of these stages here when they run out. You gotta be careful. They run out and you gotta jettison them immediately. So you gotta be paying attention to that. But here we go. We're on our way. Like I said before, I'm not gonna be when I get to 15,000, I'm not gonna actually be pointing like close to the 45, but it's gonna be close enough. And we're off. Again, you can tell that every time you jettison these, they burn longer. So the first one's burned really quick, the second one's burned a little bit, slower, and then these ones building, significantly slower. And then when I get rid of these, you'll notice how slow these ones on the outside burn. They burn very slowly, so that's good. We want that. That's ideal for us. So here we are, and get rid of these. We're off. Nicely done. So these are going to burn for quite some time. I want to go ahead and take this opportunity to correct my orbit a little bit, so I'm going to point this a little north and just fix our trajectory. There we go, 90 degrees, it's perfect. 89, still not enough, but whatever. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more energy to the south. There we go, and 90. There it is, perfect. Nice little heading at 90 degrees. We're going to get rid of these side boosters here, and we're still going to have plenty of more acceleration to do. So we'll worry about that when we get there. So I'm going to jettison these and I'm not going to kill the engine right away. You can tell from here, we're still not nearly high enough. We need some time. But the beauty is we're already really high up there. And what we can do is we can open this up and we can take pressure data from the upper atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. Good stuff. And I'm going to close it. These are done. I can jettison these. And now we do the long acceleration. Now again, we're still doing prograde. We're pointing at the 90 degree mark, so that's good. But we're adding speed very slowly. We're not adding speed very quickly, but we're adding it. And that's not bad. As I said before in the previous one we did a test, this rocket was essentially almost like barely above a 1.0 thrust to weight ratio, so it's pretty much just barely keeping itself afloat. And so once we start burning some fuel, that's when it gets a lot better, and it gets lighter, and the engine becomes more efficient. But for now, there it is, we're getting out. And we've been burning lateral energy for so much time that by the time this actually gets to 75,000 meters-ish, we're going to have almost a perfectly connected flight. So once we do that final burn to get us into orbit, It's going to be really, really great. Set the moon as our target. We got excellent inclination, so we're good to go. There it is, 70,000, and then we're going to wait to 75,000, and here we go, and kill the engine. Then we're going to add the maneuver node, as per usual, until this flips. Yep, come on now. There it is, and flip. There we go. And it's an 18-second burn, tiny little burn time. That's great for us. Let me go ahead and change my view again. And again, I don't like to turn until I get out of the atmosphere, so I'm going to wait. And I'm going to go ahead and just take my time to get there. Leaving it on prograde. I could time warp, but time warp with prograde or any of these beacons on, it wobbles, it jiggles the craft way too much. It's very sensitive. So I'm just going to wait normally. Get here to this point here, it'll be almost 70,000, so it's not going to be that much time anyways. It makes a great launch angle. It's like we're moving very quickly and doing most of the work while we're still in the atmosphere. And here we are. We're in space, pointing at the maneuver node, and I'm going to begin a time warp so we can get there quickly. Because once we're in space, the time warp is much more effective. So 18 seconds, so T-minus 9 seconds is when we're going to activate our burn. And here we are. 9 seconds. Turn on our burn time. And you want a very short burn at these. It makes for a much more accurate node. The shorter your burn for each node, the more accurate it's going to be. Because when you have a really big burn time, it takes forever for you to get to that area, so it warps your orbit a little bit. But anyways, here we go. Oh, there we go, a little bit of jiggle in there. Oh, and I kill it. There it is. We got 75 and 75. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, I say, there's the moon. Let's set up a maneuver node, burning prograde, until we get right above, there it is, get the apoapsis above above the moon. Turn it around, and then go past it a little bit, so we get our apoapsis. There it is, apoapsis. And then keep going until periapsis appears. And there it is. 30,000, that's good enough, and then we can do adjustments later. So, point our maneuver node, point at the maneuver node, so we're going to rotate around. There we go. And switch on our time warp, and warp to next maneuver. And we're on our way to get to the moon. Alright, so it's going to stop us T-minus 1 minute. And it's a 30-second burn, so at T-minus, oh, what is that, T-19? T-minus 19 seconds, we're going to start doing, or actually no, T-minus 18 seconds, that's right. We're going to start doing our burn, so there it is, and burn time. Let's get to the moon. Now this is a powerful engine. We've got, what is that, half the fuel for it, and that should be just fine to get us over there, because it is a fairly fuel-efficient engine, but there's a bunch of fuel in here. So that's great, because the new diameter rockets, they give you a tremendous amount of fuel. So now here comes the boring burn time part of the maneuver. So it starts off slow, and then it gets really quick by the time you get up there. So we should be good to go. So here we are, and we're coming up to our time. And there we go. As you can see, the apoapsis is going to start accelerating a lot quicker now on us, and we're going to get close. Kill this maneuver node, and we're going to nudge our way gently until we get an encounter. You can see there's going to be an encounter, and carefully adjust our altitude until it's close. And again, I'm getting a little too sensitive here, so I'm going to go limit my thrust, and then adjust it by hand. 15, there it is. Switch on our time warp, bring back our thrust limiter, don't forget about that, and we're off. Good times, good times. What I'm going to do is, there it is. So we've got the sun here, and it's starting to cook our craft, and I don't think it's necessary, but I added in before. I'm going to go ahead and extend these radiators. These radiators are an awesome piece of technology. It's new for the new patch. And what they do is they take the ones that expand like this, the panels that are like that, they actually take energy out from the hottest part and cool it off, which is great. But for us now, I think it's time for us to collect some science. So we're still in space near, so I'm going to do a quick EVA. Climb up before we get to space far, so I'm on a timer now. I'm going to take that data and I'm going to log space near. I'm going to take that as well. I'm also going to take this barometer data, inch my way back down, and I guess we can wait, or better not, board again, and time warp until we get to space far. There it is, space far, and log some more data from space high. I guess I should say space high. Inch our way back up again, and these ladders are great, and they make for awesome, you know, the ability to do a lot of awesome stuff with the ladders. So yeah, I cannot have to let go of my craft and everything. It's great. So anyways, I just want to show you a little bit about the these radiators. You turn them to your, let's say, your craft to the side here, and let's go switch on time warp now. You'll see they point flat against the sun. It means they're reducing the surface area exposed to the sun, and they have these big panels that are exposed to space, so they cool off the craft. It makes for really cool stuff. They work like solar panels, but instead of facing the flat side toward the sun, they face the skinny side towards the sun. It's really great. I love this design. It's extremely cool. But anyways, let's keep going. Time warp time. I'm gonna go ahead and warp here. And there we go. Okay. Then we're gonna get an encounter with the moon. And here we are. We got ourselves an encounter with the moon. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. So, first order of business is getting that science from the barometer, because we're still playing catch up. I'm gonna go ahead and open that. Oh, it's on the other side. And I'm gonna log that barometer data space high over the moon. Okay. Now, next order of business is we've got to get into orbit. So, as before, we click on the periapsis, and what we're gonna do is burn retrograde, just slow us down. And when you keep burning retrograde, eventually it's gonna connect in on itself. And now we're officially in orbit around the moon, and we're not gonna leave moon to orbit. You can just keep pulling retrograde until you get a flip. You get a flip from the periapsis and the apoapsis. Oh, there it is. And flip from, there you go. There we go. Now we got a nice circular orbit right above the surface of the moon. You don't have to be far away from the atmosphere, because there is no atmosphere in the moon. So it makes for a very interesting, very interesting. Oh, look at this jiggle. Look at that. Look at that jiggling. Okay, and time warp. And I'm gonna go ahead and warp to our node. There it is. We're gonna get a little closer. And here we are. Oh, we missed it. Come on. Retrograde. Burn, burn, burn. It's only a very short burn, so it's not the end of the world, but kinda missed it. It's gonna be alright. I think we'll be okay. Alright. And there it is, and it's gonna flip on us in any second. There we go. Close enough. 18, 11, could be better. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that orbit, because I burned a little late. I'm gonna go ahead and stabilize our orbit. I'm gonna burn prograde here for just a tad. Oh, it flipped on us. Now, since I feel like we could actually, yeah, let's just get into stable orbit. Now, talk about how you leave orbit. Now, we're not gonna leave orbit because we want to land, but we're gonna get in a stable orbit real quick, and we're gonna talk about it. So again, move into my node, and I'm trying to circularize, and it's like way close. It can't even tell me what my estimated burn is. That's how little energy I have to add into this. So that's gonna be just fine. Get right on top of it, and burn right as we get there. Just 1 second. And it's gonna give me a little bit of shake here, but that's gonna be alright. There it is. Okay, there it is. We got 18, 18. Perfect. Now, how do you get out of orbit like this? I mean, you can make it bigger and bigger, but how do you make it so that you get back most efficiently? You could burn prograde and get an escape, and that's the best way to do it. Burn prograde and get an escape. But where do you do the prograde burning? So, for example, if you burn prograde over here and you burn it this way, you're gonna disconnect, and this is the orbit. So you're actually gonna be adding energy. You see that? You're gonna be adding a whole bunch of energy. You don't necessarily want that. But what happens is you can actually take this and spin it around, and it will show you what happens to the orbit. So when you get to about here, look at that. See that? When you get to about here, you're actually getting a smaller orbit. Much smaller. So this, for the same fuel, I haven't changed my delta V. It's still 200 meters per second. I've just changed when I burn it. So when you burn it over here, look at it, it adds a whole bunch of energy. But when you just burn it earlier, over here on this side of the orbit, you're actually taking away a whole bunch of energy. You get a smaller orbit. So if I keep building delta V from here, eventually I'm gonna get to the surface just by burning more delta V. And I could, again, since it's stopped turning around, I can reduce it and see if I can adjust it so that I get closer. And there it is. You see that? It's closer to the surface. Keep burning. Again, I can adjust it. It is. You see that? It is like a low point in which it gets the closest. And then I can burn some more, and eventually, there it is. So there it is. With this speed, leaving and burning prograde in my orbit. So again, I'm only burning prograde. That's the most efficient. I can get back to Kerbin. So I have to burn prograde over here. And if I take for this same speed, if I spin it over to the other side, it's going to add a whole bunch of energy. So much so that it's actually going to shoot me out of Kerbin's sphere of influence. So for the same energy, it's going to shoot me out and put me in this orbit around Kerbin's influence. And that's it. So that's how you get out of orbit and back to Kerbin. And we'll revisit this in the next episode. But for now, we're safely above orbit, and this is a great stopping point for us. And I'll see you. I'm gonna just go ahead and pause, and I'm gonna start up the second episode soon. So I'll see you there. This is Nerdy Spaceman. Stay safe and fly far.